Hello there, everybody. All right, it's time for another art dump, and it's the last day of June. That means we are now halfway through 2019. Can you believe that? Hasn't it? It doesn't seem that long ago. We were right at the start, and I thought to begin with, I'd just read this little message that I got on Facebook from my aunt. She says, "I really look forward to seeing your posts. You are so creative and clever. You make me smile, and I really need that, especially on bad days. I don't always post, but know that I'm really enjoying your questions to Ema. Keep it up. You have a great talent." And I found that so lovely and flattering, and I really appreciate that. Because for those of you who don't know, Ema is this OC. You can actually see her up on the screen, up in the corner in the background. My little green alien cop OC. And I've been doing a thing on Twitter and Instagram where she answers people's questions, and it's been a lot of fun to do. And you're going to see a bit of the art that I've included in some of those. And I think what's good is that I've been doing that quite frequently. I've been doing quite a lot of those. Excuse me. But it hasn't got in the way of me doing other pieces of art. For example, the one right here with Alison and Peggy. Now, Alison is one of, I mustn't forget, one of Julie Kitsuli's OCs. She's the little cat who's looking very happy there, pointing over. And because the idea is that she's a really big fan of Peggy, who's the keyboard player in Femme Fatale. I've done a lot of Femme Fatale art. We have a whole Twitter now, and you can see the stuff that I'm drawing for that. This isn't my best work. I feel like this is. Every time I look at this picture, I just feel like that's kind of me slipping back into the kind of mediocre level. It's really not. I've done a lot better than that. So there are some here that I'm not particularly happy with, but I'm still going to show them. I'm not going to hide these away. So this is quite a cute one. This is I drew this one for Ask Ema because somebody asked the question like, "Hi Ema, what were you like as a kid?" And I was really excited when I got that question because I thought, this means I can draw some pictures of little Ema. It's going to be really cute, and I always love drawing cute things, and I really like this idea of drawing her as a baby with a little mobile. It's just a really cute idea, and she's dribbling, and also the fact that she's her onesie is purple, that actually became like a little Easter egg because it took me a while to get around to it. But when I was answering the question, "What's your favourite colour?" Ema's favourite colour is purple, and there are lots of hints to that throughout this series. Every time she answers a question, I try to find a way of putting something purple in there that she has. Now this is a character created by Spiral Juice, at Spiral_Juice, I believe, on Instagram. They're also on Twitter. This character is called Bonnabelle, and they've drawn a couple of pictures of this character, and somehow I just really found myself. It was one of those characters that made me really want to have a go. I thought, that looks like fun. I want to have a go at drawing Bonnabelle, it's I suppose it's a kind of style that's a little bit out of my comfort zone. I did challenge myself a little bit because she kind of looks like Lola from Looney Tunes, I do like. There is something about grumpy characters, or at least because like the image that I was working of, kind of so it was her in a bit of a grumpy mood apparently. There is something that I don't know. I worked quite hard on the shape of her mouth because I wanted to that kind of just like that kind of look. This one I'm not too pleased with because I drew this in my sketchbook originally. I might have shown that sketch. I think I did because it was sitting in my sketchbook for quite a while. So this is Bruce, and he's Claire Kitty's father. Claire Kitty, the lead singer of Femme Fatale. I think a couple of things. In future, I'm going to try and make him a bit taller because I think he needs longer legs than that. They don't seem to quite be in proportion. Also, I might try and class up his outfit a bit because I don't know. It was hard because I'm trying to make him look like he used to be a millionaire, but he's fallen on hard times. That's kind of the idea that I'm going for. So he's a bit scruffy. He has that little scratch mark on one of his cheeks. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did talk about this character before. So this is the first time I did a digital version of that drawing. I mean, it looks all right. I don't think it's that bad. And this is another character from Ema's universe. So I was thinking I should start coming up with ideas for the perps and criminals that Ema has to deal with. So I came up with this character, and her name is Bunker. Because I just thought I'm going to give her a name that's a thing that, you know, I can't really, because one thing I found is that if you're trying to come up with alien names, it's hard to think of one that isn't kind of, you know, a name that exists in our world, because even if it's not that common in the English language, or like people in English-speaking countries, somewhere in the world that you might find that there are actually people who have the name that you have in mind. Because I mean, I don't know, Ema is very unlikely to be a name that nobody on this planet has. So I kind of accepted that, and I'm like, okay, it doesn't really matter if it's a name that does technically exist. It just has to kind of sound plausible for this completely different world that I'm trying to create. And it's hard. It's made me realise that George Lucas made it very hard for himself when he was creating the Star Wars universe. You have to come up with so many rules and things, and there's a lot to think about. Anyway, so Bunker is like a jewel thief, and I kind of based her on a pack rat because I just thought I like this idea of a thief who likes to sort of sniff around and also likes collecting shiny things. That's kind of her obsession. So she's just very obsessed, like her whole life is stealing things, especially shiny objects. Another little Ema picture, another one of her old photos. I rushed this one quite a bit because this is what my drawings tend to look like when I don't really think about clothing too much. I'm really not that... I don't put a lot of thought into clothing. Like I don't like the colours that I used for like her trousers and shoes. I wish that I'd maybe put... She doesn't look like she's wearing shoes. The other thing is, she's an alien. I don't know what kind of clothing she would wear. Because like her police uniform that she wears in a lot of the drawings I do is it's meant to be kind of sci-fi-ish, you know, alien things. So I just it took me a while to think of what I was going to draw her, like if I drew her as a child, what would she be doing? And then I just like the idea of having like a hover scooter, like the way a lot of kids do ride around on scooters. So I just thought, yeah, I do see that in the neighbourhood. They've got their scooters, so yeah, why not? That's the kind of age that I'm going for this drawing. So I mean, the clouds look quite nice because again, it's all very rushed, so they look like clouds. So now we have Molly. So this is Claire's mother. So we're seeing more of the Kitterson family, and yeah, she belongs to Julie Kitsuli as well. Mustn't forget. I'm going to try and make sure I credit all the people that I'm ripping off. But yeah, and I like how this came out. I mean, again, it's a little bit out of my comfort zone. And one thing you're going to see is like parts of the original sketch, like Julie's original sketch, and also the first few lines that I did when I thought, yeah, she's got to have that kind of shape for her head. Because I don't really draw a lot of... When I'm drawing cats, they don't usually have that kind of head shape where the ears sort of... I don't know. I think I still need to work on, because it's always I'm starting to realise it's better if the ears kind of look like they're attached to the back if you're drawing a cartoon character, instead of making it look like they kind of merge with the forehead and the area around the eyes. Make it look like all the main part of the face is sort of in front of the area where the ears are, because that's how most ears work. But it's hard with cartoons because different rules apply. And yeah, I think I realised I'm not used to drawing characters who have very long flowing hair, because that was another thing when I looked at Julie's original sketch, and I just realised normally when I draw a character with long hair, it doesn't usually go much longer than kind of shoulder length, I suppose. I have more parents here. I created these two. These are Becca Bunny's parents. If you're not sure what Becca Bunny is, you can just see her down in the corner, in the bottom left-hand corner in the background. This is her mum and dad. Probably a picture of them back in the past when Becca was a little child, because this kind of looks like the old days before she made it big in the Femme Fatale in that band. So their names are Pete and Linda. I haven't really thought of an awful lot about them, but here's the thing: as they're rabbits, inevitably I decided that there would be a running joke where Becca just has loads of siblings, and every time you see a white rabbit in the Femme Fatale universe, it's actually one of Becca's siblings. So you slowly get this idea that she has an impossible number of relatives, and I just like the idea of making Linda this very petite kind of character. So even though she's given birth to so many bunnies, she's surprisingly small. You don't quite expect her to be that size. I just thought there was something. I kind of like to go the unexpected route a lot of the time. And there's a little Lego Movie reference, because there's another one of those things that I just kind of had it in my head for a while, and I thought, yeah, that works. So this is Zola. She's the loyal friend and partner of Ema. She's usually very hyperactive, and I just thought maybe she really likes going to space. Every time she gets the opportunity to go into space, she loves it. And it got me thinking of the character Benny from the Lego Movie. So she's wearing his helmet. If you look carefully, you can even see that it has that little split, because they did used to do that. The 80s Lego toys, the little spacemen Lego toys, they would have a part that always cracked. It just split apart because it was so thin. And I think that's why in the 90s they redesigned those helmets, the little Lego helmets. They made them a bit more robust. But yeah, that was a real thing. So she's wearing a damaged Lego helmet, like in the Lego Movie and in the spaceship. Now here we go. Maybe I'll enlarge this because it's quite a special image, and I always mess things up when I change the sizes. This was a commission for Julie Kitsuli, and these are like fursonas. So the one on the left is Julie's fursona. Summer Falls, I believe, is the name, and the idea is that she's like a flying squirrel, but she has a special suit. She has like a flight suit. And yeah, on the right is Reggie Wiles the fox, based on Julie's boyfriend. And yeah, because Julie sent me some reference images, and one of the Reggie images, he was holding a rose, and so she suggested, she said maybe he could be handing the rose to Summer. And I thought that was a really cute idea, so yeah, that's what I went with. And it's a bit frustrating because even with something like this, I still find myself looking at it and being like, oh, I've got that wrong. Just sort of nitpicking all the little things. But I worked hard on it because it was something that I was actually getting paid to do, and I really enjoyed it. And I've opened commissions. If you're interested, on my Twitter, you can DM me if you want to commission me something. Must be safe for work. I'm trying to keep that as a rule. But I'm quite satisfied with it. I don't draw a lot of roses, so I think that rose came out quite well considering. Now this was a bit of gift art that I did for one of my followers on Twitter, Techno Dragon. So it was quite fun, and I think see that background, by the way, I kind of had that already. I made that a long time ago. There's a plane. This is the problem when you feel like me and you're too lazy to edit your videos. You have to, just please excuse. It's putting me off. That's the real thing. That anyway. So the background I just sort of inserted because I'd already made it for something else a few years ago, and it's kind of a Tron inspired background. I played about with the colour because I thought I wanted to sort of match up with the colour palette that I've used for the character. This is Techno Dragon's avatar. I suppose that's quite clear. So I wanted the background to match up, but also I didn't want it to kind of clash with it. I didn't want it to distract, because sometimes you drop a background in and you realise that it sort of blends in a bit too much with the foreground. So I made the foreground nice and clear, and the background's a bit fuzzy. I think it works. Okay, now these are two characters. Another idea. This is an idea that I've been sitting on for a long time, and it's funny because I feel like I'm probably not going to draw these characters that much in future because I don't really know what to do with them. But the idea is that it was like an idea for a TV show that I thought of called the Debunk Duo, and these characters are called Ellie. She's the one on the left, and Kate, the one on the right. And the whole thing is very much inspired by the film The Yes Men Fix the World, which is like a documentary film, and it's all about two guys who use hoaxes to expose some hidden truths, or like it's worth checking out because it shows how thinking outside the box means you can achieve some extraordinary things, and that really just inspired me to have these two characters. It's just kind of like the idea of having extremely skeptical characters who have a gift for like exposing stuff, and we've got some real little interference. I should shrink these back down. Hang on, let's fit that back. More noise coming from outside, which I cannot be bothered to get rid of. Fit the screen. There we go. Anyway, this is Zola again. She's the one on the left, and the one on the right is Looper. She's a very new character I just recently came up with, and the story behind this is when I was doing Ask Ema. Somebody, I'm just going to blow it out. Somebody asked about Ema, and they said, "Do you have a crush?" And Ema's response was, "There is a guy that I was going to marry, and he disappeared." And she gets emotional about it, and then Zola turns up, and she's like, "Hey, it's fine." And then Zola reveals that she has a crush on Ema. And the only problem I have with that is that it's almost like she's trying to steal Ema away from this guy that she was going to marry. So instead of kind of pursuing that or building on that, I thought I'll create a new character who can be Zola's girlfriend. So that's where Lupa came from. And so she is basically, I thought I'd make her the same species of alien, and I don't know what the name of the species is going to be yet, but I think they make a cute couple. And I think because I'm trying to make her, I'm still developing the design, Lupa's design, because she looks very similar to Zola. Already 20 minutes in, I've got to speed up. But anyway, yeah, so I've come up with ideas of how I can make her a bit more, like her nose is a different shape, so that's one thing. She has a different outfit. So we're done with the general art now. Let's go to the sketches. Right, this one's a little bit hard to, the lines are very fine. I used a propelling pencil for this one. And this is another drawing of Alison, and I hope I've got the finished piece ready by the time this video goes up, because otherwise this will be a sneak preview if this hasn't already been finished. But I am still working on this one, on like the final piece, because Alison is a big fan of Peggy, and this is meant to be her dressing up like Peggy, wearing the same kind of outfit. She has the same dolly peg earrings, the star painted on one side of her face. Wearing a similar jacket, shirt, and jeans, and she's done her hair in the same style. That's the idea of that one. Let's move on. Yeah, and there's the original sketch I did of Bunker, and she's holding a gun, so she looks a bit more dangerous there. So yeah, I think maybe she uses weapons. There's like the police characters use weapons, apparently, from what I've created. I'm saying this is like, this is a maybe sort of thing, even though I'm the guy who's supposed to know all of these. So yeah, that was Bunker, that was her original. Sorry, I'm trying to speed through these now. But here we have the original drawing. You can see that there. That's Julie's original drawing of Molly. And so I just thought I'd show this because you get to see Julie's drawing right there, and also over on the right is the initial sketching I did for my version. And yeah, I was quite pleased because that is a bit of a departure. She looks like a cat. She kind of fits in with the rest of the characters in this universe, but at the same time, it's a different type of shape. It has, it's kind of the same but different, and so I was pleased with that one. It's funny how something that basic kind of makes me think, I'm onto something here, and I feel like sharing it. But I think it was also worth putting this up because you get to see Julie's artwork as well. And there's a sketch I did for the Debunk duo, Ellie and Kate, so almost exactly the same. I suppose, let me just fit that to screen again. I didn't bother scanning it, I just snapped it on my iPad. Oh yeah, by the way, I was watching the S-Men Fix the World while I was doing the digital version of that drawing. And because those what those characters are based on, so it seemed to make sense. And now we have one of the sketches that I did for Ask Ema. So the question on that day was, what's your favourite dessert? And I had this idea. I thought it'd be funny if we go to Ema dressed like a chef and saying, "Welcome back to Cooking with Ema," and saying, today I'm going to be making my favourite dessert. And you've got Dweezil, the little round guy. Again, I haven't come up with names for these species, but like, she calls him Dweezil. That's his given name. Put him in a little chef's hat. I thought that was cute, and he kind of looks like he's reading the cookbook as well. I like the idea that maybe he's a bit more intelligent than you would imagine a little round ball with eyes would actually be. So yeah, that was fun. Some dragon sketches here, because the thing is, I have a bit of an obsession with how I draw, because I tend to draw dragons in quite a specific way, and I'm not very happy with that way of drawing it, and I'm trying to work out better, because my goal is always to be able to draw something that I'm satisfied with, and it can be very challenging, and I think dragons are the thing that I struggle with quite a lot, because I almost never draw a picture of a dragon and think, yeah, I'm satisfied with that. I quite like the chubby one that I drew over there on the right. He looks quite cute. I like how it's quite a flat face. I need to draw more flat-faced dragons, I think. Well, I want to try and do more of that. Somehow that just seems like something that's important to me. And this is Femme Fatale, and this was when they made a little cameo appearance in one of the Ask Ema comics that I've done. You can find the whole thing. It's on my Instagram. It's on my website. It's everywhere. Not everywhere, but yeah. And that was a fun thing, because the idea of this one was that Ema was having a look inside a portal, and I just thought it would be quite funny if she met some of my other OCs, because they don't belong in the same universe. So yeah, traveling through a portal seemed like the most plausible way that she would get to meet them. Oh yeah, and this was a sketch. This is from my sketchbook, and I was just having a go at drawing Ema and Zola in superhero gear. I'll enlarge it again. Hang on. Because the question was, if you're a superhero, what would your costume be like, and what superpowers would you have, etc. So that was fun to do, and so this was like a little design. I'm really not that good at drawing characters running. I have found that. I still need to work. They look like they're dancing a jig. And I sometimes forget that you don't have to draw the entire leg when you're drawing someone running. You can have it go up behind them. It can be obstructed by the rest of the body. So yeah, things like that. It's all very simple at the end of the day. I just never been good at it. I know this is interesting. Let me just shrink that back down. Sorry about all this. Very professional. This is like an alternate design of Ema's uniform, because I feel like there are a lot of problems with the uniform she has right now. It's not the most practical, but I mean, as she's become quite a funny character in quite a funny world, it does kind of lend itself to some humour. I thought if she had quite a practical suit, it would be kind of like more of like a Marvel type outfit, something like that, kind of Captain Marvel inspired. So yeah, obviously I've just sort of done that as a little costume design piece. I haven't got much further with that, but I think, yeah, because it is quite close to what I had in my head before I started drawing, so that's always a good sign. This is another one from Ask Ema. The question for this one was, have you ever been to Area 51? And that took a lot of thinking. I had to really think to myself, what would her answer be? Because I thought it has to be yes, because if it's no, then you're sort of denying someone a humorous answer, and the only way I can make it funny is if she has been there. But what did she get up to? And then I thought maybe she took out a flying saucer for a joyride. It's quite a dumb idea, but I just like the fact that she's going piece of junk. That just seemed like the type of thing she would say if she crashed a flying saucer. So yeah, that's like it took quite a lot of work, because I had to make it look like it had already crashed into something, and yeah, it's basically it's kind of the aftermath. You can see the piece of glass still falling, I suppose, and yeah, I mean, it kind of works. I really had to, because you can just see that I had to rotate her body a bit, because at first it looked like she was sort of hanging over rather than that she's gone all the way. Oh yeah, now this is a little very quick sketch I did of this mouse character, just a random guy, and if you look carefully you can see he's hitting a play button, because this was like I was having a go at doing playlist artwork, and I took that a bit further. I've got some artwork that might be in might be in the next art dump possibly, but this was just like the starting point that I took, and I haven't done anything else with this drawing in particular, but I've done some similar things. Yeah, and this is actually one that I did use for some of my playlist artwork images. It's actually Reg the dog, from the Roger Waters' Pros and Cons of Hitchhiking era, I believe. It was a character that he used for like the sort of imagery, visual stuff for the live shows he was doing. I think it's something like that. It's all in the book. I've got this book, The Making of Pink Floyd's The Wall, and there's a whole section about this character in that book. This is Ruth, I think. It could be Ruth, it could just be a random Fox character, because Ruth was also part of the Femme Fatale universe. I like the idea of her being like a TV producer character, and I've had to go at trying to do some really cartoony expressions, and also kind of redoing her design a bit, because I do find that I look at the way a lot of other cartoonists draw sort of canine type characters, and it's a bit more like this. I suppose there's still a lot of my own style in there. I just say that because I think it's kind of weird how I just tend to draw things in a certain way. I'm really trying to move away from the kind of Beluga Weekly stuff. I'm not saying that was bad. I just really want to change from that now, I think. And so this is an example of me trying to do stuff that is very unlike the stuff that I was doing back then. I just have that itch, the itch to change. And this is the original drawing I did for the commission of Summer and Reggie. So as you can see, I really couldn't be bothered to draw the rose properly, so I just drew a little circle, and I thought I'll take care of that when I do it for real. And we can also see that with the little suit that Summer is wearing, I actually considered putting on a backpack and like a belt, because that like kind of skydiving gear. But the problem is she has a wingsuit, and I realised that wouldn't actually work. It wouldn't be practical at all. You couldn't really wrap a belt around you, and there's nothing really that didn't really seem to make sense. And so I just thought, yeah, just go with the whole flying squirrel thing. Right, this video is now 32 minutes long, so I'll try not to keep you. That was it. That was the last drawing. So if I go back to that one, I'll just say one last thing, because it's funny how if you're like me, you keep flipping your work. You probably, if you do digital artwork, you might do this yourself. You keep mirroring the drawing to make sure it looks okay at both angles. Because you start to notice flaws that way. You can start noticing things that need to be corrected. And I did that a lot when I was working on this piece. And originally, they were the opposite way around when I first started drawing them. I originally intended for Reggie to be on the left and Summer to be on the right. But I suppose this is an example of how some drawings can work just as well the other way around, because I didn't actually notice until after I'd sent it to Julie and she'd looked at it that it was actually it was completely mirrored from what I was originally going to do it, and nobody seemed to notice that. So there you go. I must have. I think I'm getting better at making sure that my drawings look good both ways when you flip them both ways. So that's it. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching this slightly longer art dump video. It's amazing how much material I end up getting each month, because I'm trying to get this out, get this recorded early. So yeah, it's still got a bit more to go for me. But anyway, do take care, everybody. Thanks again, and I am off to the pub.